Welcome, Pewter Report readers, viewers, and listeners to a brand new edition of the Pewter Report podcast, the Pewter Postgame Show, where we are talking about, for the first time in what feels like a long time, a victory for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They defeated the Los Angeles Rams, the other team besides the New Orleans Saints that have just had the Bucs number, but they vanquished their enemy, their foe, with a late comeback or rally, if you want to say, winning 16-13 in a dramatic last-second touchdown from Tom Brady to Cade Otton with 9 seconds to go in the game. We will break it all down as the Bucs were in the jaws of defeat and they escaped the clutches of defeat to win this game. I am your host, Matt Matera. Joined with me is my co-host, my fellow colleague from pewterreport.com, JC Allen. JC, for as bad as that game was, for about 85% of it, it was an exhilarating, such a fun final thing to the game. And no matter how it looked at times, a win is a win, is a win, is a win, is a win. And the Bucs won, and they're in first place in the NFC South. So go figure. How you doing, my man? This is pretty wild.
You know what? It never gets old. I've watched that over the years, for the last 23 years, and it never gets old. Watching Brady just do what he does best. It was awesome. And to quote Tom Brady, that was awesome. That was awesome. I'd swear, but I don't want us to get flagged on our podcast or YouTube and change our audience. But you guys know what I'm saying. That was great. Just watching Brady orchestrate in 2-minute drill by himself, calling the plays and not having any interference from the sideline was just amazing. And it should do it more often. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Brady is just, he can dissect the defense like no other, especially when everything counts and it's all on the line. Just incredible to watch.
Yeah, so the Bucs won 16-13, and we'll kind of go in reverse in this game because I think we should, because things have been so bad for the Bucs lately, JC. So the fact that they finally won, I feel like we should ride the high of the last drive and the good things on the defense, and then we can kind of work our way back into the struggles of the team. You had a tweet, which I completely agree with, that Byron Leftwich and the Bucs offense in general doesn't get absolved because Brady called all the last plays on that last drive. But we will talk about that last drive, that exciting comeback, in just a moment. But first, we will remind everyone that the Pewter Report podcast and the Pewter Postgame Show is brought to you by our friends at Celsius. I'm currently drinking a watermelon berry Celsius energy drink. The vibes are always very high on the show, and I would recommend getting the Arctic Peach or Tropical Vibes, all great flavors. They have a variety of flavors, which is awesome, whether it's, peach mango, watermelon, strawberry lemonade, cucumber lime, a lot of different flavors there. And, of course, 7 essential vitamins, the healthy energy drink that you can get that, of course, is Celsius. Go to the store locator, see where you can get one at your local bodega, convenience store, Target, Walmart, or go to Amazon. Do the subscribe and save where you can save money, have it sent to your house apartment 1, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever you want. Get the variety pack. Variety is the spice of life. I'll keep telling you guys that because it's an awesome, fantastic energy drink, just like how this game was awesome and fantastic at the end. So Celsius.com, Celsius #LiveFit. Make sure you're drinking those drinks. So like I said, we're going to work our way backwards towards the end of the game and then get back to the beginning. You said it. You never get tired. It's Tom Brady, 8 game drives. He already had a career best 68, but with this comeback, fourth quarter / overtime drive, well, this one fourth quarter, but he extends his record to a very nice 69 fourth quarter and overtime comeback wins. And this one I think was up there as one of his more impressive for the fact that the Bucs had no timeouts. The defense did a great job of stopping the Rams, which I know they were doing a great job pretty much the whole game, but with their recent track record of allowing huge run plays, it was at least in the back of my head of like, well, there's a chance that they don't get the stop here. But they did. They had the ball. The Rams punted it with about 54 to 50 seconds on the clock. So Bucs had about 48 and change with no timeouts, still having to go at least, 70, what I don't remember when they started, but at least like 70 plus yards down the field. And that whole drive was sparked right away with a great throw and an even better catch by Cade Otton over the middle. A nice diving catch by Otton got them over midfield where they could all run down and spike the ball with 30 plus seconds to go. Brady then dumps a pass to Leonard Fournette. He then completes a couple passes on the sideline to Scotty Miller, who made up for an egregious drop in the end zone on the prior drive. Hits Otton a time or two, and then, of course, the big play, first and goal with 13 seconds to go. They fake the handoff to Leonard Fournette. Otton, who was blocking on the play, just slips out to the side a little bit. Brady dumps it off to him, and he gets into the end zone with 9 seconds to go.
The reach by him, too, just in case. I don't know what the guy is behind me, but I'm going to reach for it.
It was truly just, for as bad as this offense was, it was exceptional on that last drive. I don't know why the Rams did not defend the sideline. Like, they played some weak-ass coverage on that last drive. And, of course, there's a pass interference penalty that Mike Evans was able to draw. So, really, a lot of guys stepped up in that final drive. No one bigger, of course, than Cade Otton. But, hey, Brady did what Tom Brady does, JC.
Absolutely. And you gave Brady one chance at it. To give him a second chance at it, yeah, it's not something I'd advise that, right? And it came up just short on that first chance, but then, you got to just laud everyone. And it's unlikely people, Cade Otton, right, down the seam for 28 yards. Leonard Fournette has the wherewithal to get out of bounds after a quick 4-yard gain. Miller with 14. Miller was 7. And then the PI, the defensive pass interference, was huge. That was not only does it stop the clock, it gives you the ball on the 1 yard line with the amount of time that they had left. I believe it was 13 seconds, 16 seconds. So that gave you the ability to really take 3 quick shots at the end zone. And then if you needed to, maybe try a running play on that 4th and final down if you were from 1 yard out. And they didn't need it. Cade Otton with the 1 yard touchdown reception, the first of his career. Tight end 1. If there's any doubt before, he is tight end 1. He has separated himself from Brate, even though Brate's been dealing with injuries, the neck sprain and the concussion. I think it is well done and said that Cade Otton is tight end 1. He's blocker. He can do a lot of things in the passing game, as we've seen, not just a short catch type of guy. He can split the field and get down there 28 yards. And he's only going to get better too. That's the thing. The more he's in this offense, and with a year in an NFL training offseason and an NFL training and getting bigger and stronger, his blocking is going to improve. Like I really, I've been in on Cade Otton since January, and he came through today. That last drive was just a thing of beauty. And it's exactly what this team needed. Because the Seahawks are red hot, and they're going to Germany, and we know international games, anything can happen.
Yeah.
And, now they're going into this game with a dub, and now they have a chance to get to 5-5 before the bye week and kind of reset. So it was a huge win, huge drive. And do you expect anything less from Brady? I've come to just.
I get more surprised when they don't get the game winning, whatever it is, 2-point conversion, touchdown, first down, whatever it is. I just think at this point, you're more surprised when he doesn't accomplish whatever he's out there trying to accomplish. And I'm absolutely with you. Cade Otton proved tonight that he is their tight end 1. And listen, we're sorry that Cam Brate got hurt the way he got hurt, but Cade Otton should be tight end number 1 for everything that you pointed out. Also, very surprising. This has happened the last couple of weeks. Now, he did have a reception in the first half, but it seems like the Bucs don't typically implement Cade Otton in the offense until the second half. I don't exactly know why, but he makes his biggest plays in the second half, which I want to start seeing that a little bit more in the first half, because he's becoming that third option. Julio didn't do much again tonight and looked like he got hurt again. They sprinkle in the running backs here and there, but they really don't have that clear-cut third option. Scotty showed some stuff today, but I don't really expect that to be consistent moving forward. Rashad Perryman was absolutely abysmal. So I really think Cade Otton could be that top guy. I mean, we've been saying it for a long time now that the Bucs need like that big red zone option that has been nullified with Rob Gronkowski not here this season. And Cade Otton is, first of all, to have your first career touchdown. What a way to have your first career touchdown. I think Tom Brady said it best. Tom Brady said it best where he gets up to the podium in his post-game press conference. Before there's even a question asked, he just goes, "That was awesome. That was effing awesome." This team needed it in the absolute worst way with the way that they kept losing. As JC cracks open a Pirate Republic, a much needed Pirate Republic for any Bucs fan that has watched this team for over the past couple of weeks. I want to thank Leo for this $5 super chat. Leo says, "Great win. Still want Byron gone. Luke should be done for the year. Bucs beat Seahawks. They're 500 with rest of the season ahead. Rams were the toughest defensive line." That's true. They don't have to block against Aaron Donald when they go to Germany. That's always a good thing.
And shout out to Nick Leverett. Shout out to Nick Leverett, who he got beat by Aaron Donald one time, and it was on a running play where Donald kind of squeezed in between him and Hainsey. He wasn't beaten in pass protection by him. He actually,
Donald got that sack when he went up against Donovan Smith.
Yeah, and he also got good pressure going against Shaq Mason and over there on the right guard. In fact, one of the final plays of the game, he was lined up against Shaq Mason instead of testing a Nick Leverett. And one time that he did try to test him, Nick stood him up. I tweeted out a video. I'm gonna actually send it to Nick after the game. He's like, "Yeah." So like like he stepped up big. He stepped up big against this defensive line, I agree with Leo 100%. Luke's got to be done for the year. I don't know how bad that ankle injury is, but what I've seen the last 2 weeks, and no, there is no bias because, I've been rooting for him for the past couple of years. He just looks better. He just looks better.
There is no argument anyone can make for Luke Goedeke that he should continue to start. And this isn't us like showing vitriol towards Luke Goedeke. It's just the facts are the facts. Nick Leverett has played really well, and Luke Goedeke has struggled heavily. So why don't you go in with Nick Leverett, who's helped this team be better, and let Luke Goedeke learn from the sideline? And you know what? You can wipe the slate clean, turn over a new leaf, and go back at it in training camp next season. Right. Like, he's just a rookie. And if he's hurting the team, you have another guy in there that has played much better against Aaron Donald, the best defensive tackle in the league and a future Hall of Famer.
History. It could be the history.
Possibly history. I just want to address this comment by 18137. It says he takes on, but calm down with the Gronk talk. I'm not comparing him to Rob Gronkowski. You would be certifiably insane to say that he's, Rob Gronkowski 2.0. Yet, all I'm saying is that the Bucs had a huge hole in the red zone where they needed someone else there besides just, Mike Evans in the red zone, where Gronk was that number one answer. I'm not saying Otton is Gronk. I'm just saying he can help in the red zone, help get back on track where they missed a lot with Gronk. So that's all. Which he did. That's all I'm saying there. I'm not saying that he's as good as Rob Gronkowski. That is clearly not the case.
No. And they still miss Rob Gronkowski, no doubt, especially on third down situations. Like they could definitely use him. I'll go out to Mark Fisher real quick. Lesson from the 2-minute drive: throw the ball down the field.
You see, it's not a surprise, man, that most of the times when the Bucs score, because listen, they don't score a lot. They just won. That was awesome. That was an exciting game. We're all gonna remember that last drive. But the Bucs were averaging 18 points per game. They went below that average today with 16 points. It's not a surprise that multiple weeks now, you can go back to the Packers game, you can go to that Steelers game, you can go to, obviously, this one. Most of the time when the Bucs are scoring, it's when it's less than 2 minutes or they're just going no huddle and Brady's calling the plays and voila, they score. All right? There's no sugarcoating it now. There's no surprise. A lot of stuff on the offense has to change. One of them I would like to see is just keep going up tempo because it works for this team. It obviously slows down the defense. They get a little more tired, and you saw them move the ball down the field in 48 seconds and did a fantastic job with that. We need to see more of it.
Right. It's the way that they can gas it. They're not going to gas anybody by running the ball. You've got to gas them by going in that hurry up, limit the substitutions they can make, and put the ball in Brady's hands and put the call, most importantly, in Brady's hands. And that's going to be the difference. And we've seen that. We've seen that in multiple games before the half when they had the ball and they're moving down the field. Today, when they had the ball moving down the field in that hurry up situation, Brady had a shotgun, working in the hurry up, getting people lined up, calling the plays. It's just been so much better for this offense, and it's worked. You know, you look at halftime and on the broadcast, they did an interview with Bowles, and he's like, "Yeah, we need to run the ball. We need to throw screen passes more." Every time they ran the ball and threw a screen pass,
I thought that would. So I obviously was on the live stream with Paul Atwell. We both thought it was fake. Like, we saw that someone had tweeted it. We legitimately thought it was fake. That Todd Bowles said we need to run the ball more, or whatever the saying was, because they were running it on first and second down.
And the screen passes, I'm just sick of them.
I'm done. I'm done.
Throw them out.
Sick of screen. I'm sick of screenplays. They're the worst thing that they've ever come up with, and they keep
Brady
going
had
to it.
2 pick sixes on those.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
2.
dude, it's really
over.
bad. I want to get into more of the issues of the offense, but I said we're going to stay positive first.
Yeah, right. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Going down the Byron train.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit. Let's talk about the Bucs defense, though, because we gave them a lot of flack last weekend. We've gotten on their case for slowing down in the second half and not, staying up to speed. Outside of the big Cooper Kupp play, and the Bucs still have a problem of not being able to take away the opponent's top offensive weapon. You can go back to the Chiefs game, you can go to the Panthers game, this one as well. Outside of another blown coverage, which I don't know how they're still having these blown coverages. But again, we're going to stay positive. This defense was terrific tonight. That was the only touchdown they allowed. They got to the quarterback 4 times. Vita Vea, did he benefit from Akeem Hicks being back in the lineup? I think so. Vita was fantastic in this game. Multiple sacks. An incredible job. It was good to have Akeem Hicks in there. We got to give credit to Devin White. Devin White played a really good game. If we're going to harp on him for how he played last week, we got to give him credit for how he played today's game. I thought he did a much better job than in weeks past. The return of Carlton Davis, that was a huge help as well. Jamel Dean balled out once. And Jamel Dean balled out once again. So shout out to this Bucs defense for showing up. 4 sacks in the game, mostly led by this man, Vita Vea. Just a terrific job by the the entire defensive line for the Bucs, starting off with Vita Vea.
Yeah, they did amazing. I mean, they limited the Rams to just 206 yards overall. Now, if you take out that long, deep, busted play of 69 yards, it brings it to 137 of total offensive yardage. Now, let's just take out Cooper Kupp in general. They had 206, Cooper Kupp had 127, 79 yards of offense outside of Cooper Kupp. They limited the rushing game to less than 70 yards on the ground, which was it was 68 net rushing yards when you include sacks and all and like negative plays and stuff like that. So they did a great job. I mean, the Bucs didn't do a good job running the ball themselves, 51.
No.
But the defense did a great job, and I think the best part of the Rams offense was actually their punter. He had 477 punting yards. Like, he was the best offense they had, changing field position for them. And the defense stepped up. I have multiple guys on most impressive, which is just pubbed right now. From Carlton Davis coming up and making multiple tackles for loss in the running game and passing game, having really locked down coverage. Does anyone hear Jamel Dean's name at all? I didn't, because they didn't target him. Because he was so good. He's just been so consistently good throughout the season. Vita Vea, as you just mentioned, the 2 sacks. Tryon-Shoyinka was all over the place. He had 2 near sacks. One of them led to the Vita Vea's second sack. The other one led to the Jannard Avery sack. Yeah, he had that offside penalty, which nullified his own sack. But he was everywhere over there as well too. I think the safeties had a little bit of a tough time. Sean Murphy-Bunting came up with some big tackles as well to prevent some big plays after they broke contain. So, there was a lot to talk about on that defensive side. Levante David had a nice play to end the drive, and he also had the near interception in the goal line. All around the defense played very, very well.
Yeah, really happy with what they did. And again, they kept it together in the second half. I thought they were going to crack at one point when Darrell Henderson got that big run after he broke a tackle. But
2 big runs.
Yeah, 2 big runs. But inevitably, they got it together. If you only allow field goals in the NFL, odds are that you are going to win the game unless you have the Bucs offense who just can't score touchdowns until the most dire moments in the game. Just want to get to some more comments here. A lot of great people in the chats. We really appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much. Make sure you like and subscribe. And
please like and subscribe. Follow all of our stuff at pewterreport.com. And of course, cheers. Francisco says, offense needs to start rolling, but I have doubts because of Leftwich. Yeah, I don't know exactly what's going to change there. Malcolm in all caps says, Brady sounded confident about the Seahawks game. It's crazy how one win can change a lot. It doesn't matter that they lost 3 in a row and lost to teams that they absolutely should have beaten. You win one game and you feel like you're on top of the world again. A Common Sensei said Dean is our best corner this year. That's absolutely true. Seaside 86 says, absolute shout out to Jake Camarda. That boy can punt a ball. I think this is Camarda's best game of the season. And I didn't have the volume on and stuff as a live, but it's like one where it's at the inch line and they called touchback on it. Were the announcers saying that Bowles should have challenged it?
Yes,
they showed the replay like 1,000 times.
100%, and he had a whole commercial break to do it. That should have been challenged. They would have been down at the 1. Didn't matter. The Bucs defense stepped up and forced a punt. But I mean, that was a situation where I think they were still only down 3. Where you potentially get a safety there, and then you get the ball back, and now you're down 1, and it's a different game.
Yeah,
so he had an amazing game. I think his longest was of 74, which tied the Bucs all-time record. And then I think he had a record too that he broke too with his punts. Was it the highest net punter or the top 6 net punter ever in the NFL? He was just on point. I'll find the stat and bring it up when I do. But he was on point. He was huge. He got the game ball, Matt.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say he did get the game ball, which was really important. John V says golden leg, referring to Jake Camarda. Jake Cobian says Camarda has cojones. So a lot of love, and rightfully so, for Jake Camarda, who's been a little up and down this season. No question there. But it was good to see him have a big game because that's why he got the game ball, because I don't know if the Bucs can make this comeback if he doesn't, keep the Rams deep into that category. We're going to continue to talk about this great rally for the Bucs coming back. But first, we just said we can count on Jake Camarda. There's a lot of things to like about him. You could almost bet on him getting a great punt. And if you're going to go betting in the Tampa Bay area, you best be going to the Seminole Hard Rock and Casino in Tampa. Just the way you like it.
Me and my wife decided we'll have some fun. I was playing a 2-cent machine. 6 bets in, I hit a jackpot. $117,000.
Hi, my name is Tara, and I won over $500,000 playing slot. I do this full time, and I would not change it for the world.
I'm Gloria. I won over $2 million at Seminole Hard Rock Casino. I went and bought a bunch of jewelry.
My name is Mike, and I won over $350,000. I love playing baccarat because it hits different. When you pull in that card and you flip over that 9, beating that 8, can't miss.
I'm Jimmy. I won $500,000 in a slot tournament at Seminole Hard Rock in Tampa.
Even a blind squirrel can get a nut sometimes.
My name is Philip, and I won $215,000 on Blazing Sevens.
Put my last $40 on the table.
Next thing you know, bam, $215,000 jackpot. I hit that bad boy.
I didn't realize how much it would change my life.
You only live once. Have fun with it, right?
Anybody can win at Seminole Hard Rock in Tampa.
Never know when you can win big over at the Seminole Hard Rock and Casino in Tampa. I kind of wish I had bet on Cade Otton to score a touchdown, because that probably would have been a pretty big payout. His first career touchdown comes in literally like the biggest moment. You really couldn't ask for a better like first career TD than having a game winner. It was essentially a walk-off. I mean, there was 9 seconds. And by the way, there's 9 seconds left. They had to go 80 yards down the field. Well, I guess like 50 yards to get in field goal range. But on that play, there was like 1,000 different laterals. We'll show another Cade Otton touchdown right there. There's like 1,000 different laterals on the play. I didn't check the box score for that specific moment, but technically the Bucs recovered it at the end. Does that count as a turnover?
Do you know who it was?
It was
Joe Tryon-Shoyinka.
Yeah, I thought it was Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. So he broke the streak.
Yeah, he broke the streak, and it added to an overall well game that he played, just getting pressure back there. And yeah, he recovered the fumble. So technically this team has had a turnover since week 4 now. Something I don't know if you build upon that and point that out, but hey, it's good awareness to end the game, right? We saw what happened in the Miami Miracle against the Patriots a few years ago.
Yeah.
So I mean, you never know. It could always happen, and it was good heads up play to end the game. So, and really kind of put the dagger in them with that fumble recovery.
Shout out to D-Row83 for the $4.99 super chat. They say, great job, guys. I always rush from work to watch you guys live at 4 p.m. Great game besides the heart-dropping win. Go Bucs. We really appreciate that, D-Row. Thanks for tuning in with us every single week. For those who might be watching for the first time, we do our show 4 times a week. We do it Monday, where we'll have roll call. That'll be tomorrow. We do it Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, all at 4 o'clock. And then we have the Pewter Tailgate Show, which is our preview before the game on Sunday. We have our Pewter Game Day Show, which is during the game, where we give our insights and analysis and reaction. And then what you're watching right now is the Pewter Post Game Show, just another Pewter Report podcast, where we react to everything that happened in the game. So if this is your first time watching, appreciate it. Or if you watch all the time like D-Row, we thank you guys for that as well. We try to get into literally everything that went on in this game. So one last thing about the defense, I think we got to talk about just, heading into next week against Seattle. Is this a sustainable type of pass rush that the Bucs have? Because obviously, we talked a lot about Vita playing great, getting to the quarterback. You watch him celebrating right there. And then Nacho had his first career sack as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. We've been we've been wanting this for, very long overdue. We've been wanting this for a very long time, because he has the great celebration in general. He does it when he stops the run, but he did it on the sack here, where he scoops a Nacho down and then brings it up and eats it, because obviously that's his nickname, Nacho. So that was great to see. But moving forward, I mean, we talked a lot about the struggles on the Rams offensive line and how there's a lot of replacements there. Can the Bucs keep this going next week against the Seahawks, or was it just, hey, they took advantage of a mismatch that they had going into this game?
Well, make no mistake about it. This line was beat up, and they lost Alric Jackson early on in the game, so they were down. He was their emergency tackle, so they were down to their emergency tackle. And Brian Allen, their center, was injured. Was limited participant all week. So this line has struggled throughout the year. But you know what? I think the return of Akeem Hicks, even though he looked gassed a little bit, especially when they were going on those long runs with Darrell Henderson and such, I think his ability to be back here is why Vita had such a good game, because you can't double team. And that's what they've been doing. They've been double teaming Vita Vea and saying, okay, Nacho, who's more of a rotational guy, or even Logan Hall, who's a rookie, they've both struggled, a little bit to get off those blocks and take those double teams. But when you give Vita Vea a one-on-one, he's going to make teams pay for it. And that's exactly what he did today, just using that strength. Tony Romo kept calling him a bully down there. And that's what he does. He bullies his way into the backfield. And I think Vita Vea for sure can only build upon this game. He's at his career high for sacks, just signed that big contract. He had a couple mental lapses in the game, but not huge in the running game, because they didn't really run the ball that well. But, I think that it's going to change the dynamic. They're still going to miss Shaq Barrett. That's not that's not saying that they won't, but I think there's more to build upon from this pass rush that we saw this week. Even going up against the Seahawks line, who's slightly better. They're not much better. Trust me. I mean, they've got a couple rookies playing in there that are playing really well in Cross and a couple of those other guys, but I still think the Bucs should be able to, I don't want to say have their way, but at least apply good pressure. And the most encouraging thing, Matt, today was they did it a lot with 4. And that's something that we haven't seen from the Bucs in a while. They didn't get too crazy with the blitz package.
Yeah, they blitzed Devin White here and there. They sent a couple of blitzes, but yeah, they did not go to that well too often, which I think was important for them. Obviously, learning their lesson from last season when they ended the season against the Rams. We talked a lot of positivity. Couple MVPs on the team right now. Obviously, Jake Camarda, Ryan Suckup too, with the exception of that block, but that wasn't his fault. Vita, an MVP in this game. Tom Brady and Cade Otton as well. There's no question there. But let's also remember that there was a lot of bad before that final drive. True. And mostly, again, the defense kept the Bucs in the game. Kept the Bucs in the game. So not too much to really harp on the Bucs defense outside of that blown coverage again, which we kind of already highlighted. So
and who is that on is what we'll really see. And I'm sure the masterminds over there and Ledyard, Capo and Atwell all jump in the 22 and tell us who was it really. It looked like it was Keanu Neal was originally
because he pointed. He was like, I'm going, like, right. I'm sending you off to the next guy.
But there was talk about, could it have been Carlton Davis who was supposed to jump in the inside? Was it Mike Edwards? Mike Edwards had a couple plays that he was off on this game for sure. A couple missed tackles and stuff like that. So, I mean, but we'll find out who that was. I'm sure Josh will have a film room study on it. So we'll get to the bottom. But you're right. They played really well. It's more the offensive side, Matt, that's really had its struggles and a couple guys on the offensive line in particularly.
Oh, wow. Scott Reynolds just put a tweet in the Pewter Report group chat. Says sources around the league believe with that Bucs win, tight end Rob Gronkowski could be mulling a comeback to help the team win the division. Gronk on Fox NFL Sunday today. My ex-girlfriends miss me. Something to monitor. You were the one that called that he was going to make a comeback. I still don't truly believe it. But as the tweet said, definitely something to monitor and pay to.
Jensen and Gronk, I said, will be back sometime shortly after the bye. Whether that's the first game back or the second or third, I think they both come back to this team, and that's the boost they need to win a championship. The NFC is in shambles.
Yeah. Outside of the Eagles, really outside of the NFC.
Eagles.
Yeah.
Even the Eagles, I think, they're exposed by the right. Yeah, but they're playing. Look at the teams they're playing.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I mean, they beat the Cowboys, but with Cooper Rush, and they beat the Giants. No, they didn't play the Giants yet. No, I hear you. The Eagles haven't played like the toughest of competitions, but and the Bucs could still use Gronk with the way that their offense.
Of course, third down red zone. Of course, having him and Cade Otton over there, and Mike Evans and Godwin. I mean, that's a different look.
And JC, that's the problem. Is that if the Bucs don't win this game, what we're talking about? Travis Kelce just got knocked on his head. What we're talking about is it's Groundhog's Day. It's the same thing over again, where they couldn't execute in the red zone. They got stopped on a 3rd and 2 in a short yardage situation. They couldn't get that going. And
first down runs.
They went 6 in a row before they passed it, and then they didn't even use a lot of play action when it showed like how important it was. So it's the same issues over and over and over again. I thought Byron Leftwich was just trolling us at one point because he would run it, and you know what? They had a little success. They did not run the ball well, but Rachaad White, who should be the starter at this point, again, can't really have an argument. Rachaad White ran it 8 times for 27 yards. That's a 3.4 average. Leonard Fournette ran 9 times, so one more rushing attempt for 19 yards, an average of 2.1. Keyshawn Vaughn got two rushing attempts, which I thought was crazy. And they credited a rushing attempt to Chris Godwin. So in total, they ran it 20 times for 51 yards. And occasionally they would get a good run with Rachaad White, and then they'd run it immediately again on 2nd down. I don't understand why they kept running on a first and second down, kept putting themselves in these tough third down situations. And they did it over and over and over, even when it was clear that they weren't moving the ball. And
Tony
then
Romo was lighting him up. He was lighting him up on the broadcast. And then, he was saying, they did do a play action on. It's like, that's what they should be doing right there. I don't know why they're not doing more of it. I'm like, Tony, go down there and call plays or something, please.
And in the passing game, something needs to change. They got to stop with the screen game. They get so screen happy. Some people warning about Chris Godwin. Like, I don't know. Chris Godwin has had some solid games. I'm not going to freak out because he had one game. Wow, great catch by former Bucs wide receiver Justin Watson down the field for those watching the Chiefs-Titans game. But they're not. I mean, Cade Otton showed up later in the game, but the passing game is just so stagnant. They had multiple 3-and-outs again. And at this point, I don't know who else you could really blame than Byron Leftwich, because Brady is showing that he's still looking solid. Mike Evans, I don't particularly think had the best game. He drew some penalties, which was important. Yeah, he got hurt early in the game, and I think that really lingered on because he made some bad drops. O'Keefe had a bad drop. Julio got injured
into this week too, though.
Yeah, Julio got injured in the game. Brashad Perryman had an awful drop, and Scotty had that drop in the end zone too. So the Bucs had
it was a little bit tougher though. I give Scotty a little bit of a leeway. I mean, he was diving through the air. I mean, it bounced off his face, Mac. He's got to catch it.
He's got to catch it. I don't think
it's not like it's Evans or Godwin. It's Scotty Miller. You know, he did. I feel like he redeemed himself enough on that final drive.
He redeemed himself, but he's an NFL player, so I don't think he jumped is a good enough excuse for dropping that ball. And some are saying I'd have to watch the replay, but some people were also saying that the jump was unnecessary. I don't 100% know. We only saw it that one time.
Jumps are flashy.
They are flashy. Think about it. Like when you were a kid, if you were at a pool or someone's pool or your own pool, and how many times would you jump off a diving board and go and try to like catch?
Bro, I would jump in the middle of like a pickup game in the field just to make it look a little bit better.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
like why don't I do that?
Yeah. So everyone has done that. But this offense, they got lucked out because the defense did a great job keeping them in the game. They cannot keep the same offense moving forward. They're not going to win a lot of games like that. They got lucky. They got very, very lucky that they played an even worse offense. But the run game is awful. The pass game is not creative. And a lot of things have to change. Win or loss, 16 points is awful. And not scoring a touchdown till the fourth quarter is worse than awful. Things have to change for this offense.
And I don't know if you heard in the press conference, I'm sure you were busy, but Brady pretty much, he said to Byron, he's like, this is the call I want to make for the touchdown. And Byron said, go for it. Byron wasn't calling plays. He wasn't. And when he did, we saw the results of it. I mean, it was mind-boggling to the point where Greg Auman, I love Greg Auman. He's like a mentor to me, one of the first guys to really kind of help me along in this business. He's really held back when he's live tweeting the games. And at one point he said, "Oh, another first down run." I was like, yes, come to the dark side, Greg. We've got cookies. We've got cookies, Greg. And I was just like, again, like it's to the point where everybody knows it's coming. Like media, fans, teams, coaches, executives, like analysts, broadcasters, everybody knows. And you're not having success with it.
That's the key. They're not. If you're running it and you're getting 8 yards per attempt every single time, I'm fine if you want to keep running it or running it on second down too, because there's that established credibility. But it just hasn't been the case. They are historically the worst run team in the league, in the NFL, in history. So that's why Jake Camarda. That's why Jake Camarda has to be on the field all the time. As Leo, thank you for the super chat, says Jake Camarda is the punt god. I don't think people should be using that nickname anymore after that scumbag, trash, horrible
Punt Prince, maybe.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Punt Prince, maybe. Or before, I think it was John V said Golden Leg. I like that.
Golden Leg's good.
Yeah, let's go with Golden Leg. But it was so funny, JC, because on the live stream before the game day itself, Josh Capo was on. I was talking with him. And we put the over-under on 3-and-outs for the Bucs offense because someone in the comments asked, like, how many 3-and-outs will the Bucs have? And I set the over-under at 3.5. And a lot of people were like, take the over. Then we moved to the 4.5, and people were still like, take the over. That over almost hit in the entire first half. It's just, it's truly incredible how many times they can just keep going 3 and out without changing anything. They didn't do a damn thing that was different from the first snap of the game to essentially, I would say, the second to last snap of the game, because that was actually a little creative with the Cade Otton touchdown there. So a lot has to change, man.
I had a tweet at some point, and it was like pretty much the same thing: running on first downs, not being creative enough with the play calling, and no adjustments. That's what they had. They weren't making any adjustments, Matt. You knew what they were doing, and you made no adjustments at all. The only reason this team won, was because of Tom Brady and his heroics at the end, and guys stepping up, guys who unlikely as guy like Scotty Miller stepping up. That's the only reason. That's the only reason. Like, they could have, if they would have ran that earlier in the game, that no huddle, that hurry up, or just let Brady just do what he wants to do. Like, let him live, set him free. Like, it could have been a different game from the get-go. So, I don't know. I got the win in Pewter this week, so I'm
nice. Yeah, a couple people picked the Bucs.
Dead last. Rams 2-6. What's record with the Bucs?
It was It was funny. After the game, they showed a quick shot of Brady and Byron hugging each other like very tightly, and it was a nice moment. But I can't help but think Byron was like, "Tom, thank you so much for bailing me out."
He's not bailed out. We still get to talk to him on Thursday, and you best believe I'm coming at him with the first down run question again. I don't care if he laughs at me, calls it a fantasy football question.
Yeah, he'll do that. He'll do that awkward. He'll do that awkward laugh.
What do you mean?
And
what's that?
Just like he does the very very awkward laugh as Amazement 717 says. Yeah, that hug said it all. Well, you know what? A winning can help shade anything, really. As bad as the Bucs were for, let's face it, 49.5 minutes of of this whole game, winning does cover up a lot of things, like how bad the offense was for a majority of the game. But hopefully scoring that late touchdown in the game, going back to first place, can really rejuvenate this team. And of course, now we got to talk about our friends at Age Rejuvenation.
As we age, our hormones decrease, both for men and women.
I was tired all the time, had no sex drive.
I was groggy.
I felt like I was 80 years old because everything hurt.
I came to Age Rejuvenation because I was tired all the time.
Bioidentical hormones has really made such an impact in people's lives.
I actually enjoy shopping now.
Got all my energy back.
Mind is sharp.
I feel like I'm 18 again.
It was perfect for me.
Get with Age Rejuvenation. Do it now. Don't wait.
Call Age Rejuvenation today.
Look better, feel better, have better sex using Age Rejuvenation. Testosterone therapy, they have that. Peptide therapy as well, and stem cell. John Gilmore and Scott Reynolds both speak very, very highly of it, how it's helped them feel much younger. So we recommend using it as well. Go to agerejuvenation.com and see what they have in store for you. Mike Reynolds here. In relation to Scott, probably not. Reynolds is a common last name. Yeah, we have a lot of common last name people at Pewter Report. Whether it's Allen, Reynolds, Hudson, really just me and me and Josh Capo are the outliers. Anyway, Bucs run no huddle, torch the defense, Bowles. We need to run and screen more so we can set that up. I was joking. Paul Daniel here. Byron will tell you that you don't see how they're improving. That's very true. John Cena, I said this as well. John Cena might as well be the offensive coordinator for the Bucs. Yeah, me and, or I should say, I guess the proper grammar would be Paul Atwell and I were joking at the end of the game that because like they ran it so much, they ran it. They were setting up the long con for the play action on the touchdown from Tom Brady to Cade Otton because they just weren't doing it at all for the whole game. They saved it.
Did Paul say that was an RPO too?
He initially thought it was, but then we looked at the replay, and the offensive line wasn't really moving forward. You know, they were more pass blocking, so he rescinded the RPO.
That's a wild play call.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, because I was like, well, the Bucs, as much as they love running the ball this game, they can't run it because there's only 13 seconds, and if you get stopped, which P.S. the Bucs are very bad at running the ball in short yardage situations, you can't get them back up to the line. As close as they are, it would just be frantic that whole time. So they weren't able to do that. But they still ran play action, which was, hey, all right, finally. They didn't do it for most of the game.
I'll take it. It results in a win, and it results in a happy locker room. And it results in a more enjoyable team to cover when everyone's not miserable and depressed.
Yeah. Charlie here says that hugging moment made me want to hurl.
All right.
Hey, listen, they both want the team to win. Though I am coming up with a theory that Byron Leftwich owes a lot of money to the mafia or something, and that's why he's just like throwing games for the Bucs, whether it's the spread, which it was -3, so it actually was a push, or maybe the unders, because I don't know the exact stats in front of me, but I'm pretty sure the Bucs are 4-5, so they played 9 games. I wouldn't be shocked if the under is like 7-2 this season in Bucs games. I'll have to look it up later.
You know what's funny? I saw people like towards the end of the game, people on Twitter were talking about, well, at this point, I'd rather the Bucs lose so Byron gets fired. People were actively betting against the Bucs I that final drive just so Byron could have the potential to get fired.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe there's a perfect way they can thread the needle where the offense is bad enough that there needs to be change, but they still win the game because the defense plays well enough. Like if the Bucs fail to score 20 points against the Seahawks in Germany, could Byron Leftwich still get fired? Like, what if they win? I don't know, man.
The Seahawks been 14, really good though this year. Like
14
surprisingly.
to 7. Let's say they win 14-7 in just a weird ass game. Does that justify Byron Leftwich still keeping his job? I don't necessarily know.
I just don't know who's on that roster. I know there's a few names, but I don't know if Bowles trusts any of those guys 100%. I definitely 1,000% think there's going to be multiple coaching changes on this team come the offseason for sure. Whether that's at special teams, whether that's offensive coordinator, some position coaches. I definitely think we see a bit of shakeup. I mean, you got to remember, Bowles was handed this team in late March, so he didn't really have an opportunity to make any change. It was already there, and obviously Bruce Arians wanted him to step in there, so all of his guys still had jobs too. So I really don't think Byron gets fired this year at all. I think maybe there's an opportunity for him next year. Maybe he takes the lateral move. I don't know.
Well, Bowles was handed this job, but if I had a beer right now, I'd be handing anyone I was with a Pirate Republic, as JC has the Take No Quarter IPA. You have that IPA that's in green right there, right in the middle. You also have the Long John Pilsner over on the left, or maybe you're right. Sometimes it changes on StreamYard. And, of course, the Golden Haze of Piracy Belgian Wit. Pirate Republic is the official beer of PewterReport.com. We are huge fans of it. And, we've had the opportunity to potentially be endorsed by other beer companies before, but we weren't fans of the beer itself, so we didn't want to really put our names to it. But this is a beer that we absolutely will and do put our names on, because it's a great beer. Brewed out of Nassau, Bahamas. They're in Florida now. You can get them at Lucan's Liquors, Total Wine and More, ABC Liquors. That's where I get mine. It's a great drink. Multiple flavors, just 3, but the ones that we promote the most because you can get them in the state of Florida. Make sure you have Pirate Republic beer soon. Celebrate that Bucs victory. They're getting into more and more locations, which is awesome. If you go to the New York Pizza in downtown in Ybor City, they have Pirate Republic there. They have it in multiple bars and breweries and everything like that, including the ones in Midtown, which, of course, Walk-Ons is where we typically have our Pewter Report tailgate show and Pewter Game Day show. we'll be having the tailgate show and game day show next week when the Bucs play against the Seattle Seahawks. It's the Celsius Pewter Report game day show or tailgate show presented by Age Rejuvenation. Also, typically live at Walk-Ons. This week, though, because the Bucs are in Germany, they have a 9:30 game. And Walk-Ons opens up pretty early, but not at like 7 in the morning when we usually do our game day show 2 hours before the game. So the pregame show, as it's going on at 8 o'clock, we'll be doing that live right here on our YouTube channel from the comfort of our homes. And then I will be on for the Pewter Game Day show when the Bucs take on the Seahawks. That'll be going on at 9:30. So pregame show 8 o'clock. The in-game show 9:30, both in the morning. Remember, they're playing in Germany, so it's an early game. So you can watch the Bucs hopefully win and then enjoy football for the rest of the day.
Yeah, Walk-Ons, beers, breakfast, Bloody Marys.
Yeah,
Bucs. Maybe, who knows? I mean, 9 o'clock in the morning. Why not? I'm down.
Bamboozlement. That'd be another one. The way that this game went today. But JC, as we wrap up here, just one last takeaway. What's the biggest thing you'll remember from this game? Is it easy enough to say that it's the last second comeback, or maybe just the fact that this team still has hope? There's still positivity in there, and hey, this team never gave up, which I think that's something very commendable to say.
I think all those things. I have a few things. I think the defense really showed that they can play really well. Even missing guys like Antoine Winfield Jr., they had guys step up as they start to get healthy. I think Cade Otton cemented himself as tight end 1 going forward on the season. I mean, if Gronk comes back, I mean, he slides into that tight end 2 role, but he's tight end 1 if Gronk doesn't come back. And I think that I want Tyler Johnson on the active roster and Brashad Perriman cut. I think that was a takeaway for me as well. Sorry, not sorry.
Rachaad White needs to be the starter. Rachaad White needs to be the starter. Every time he touches the ball, like, good things happen. And with Leonard, it's just not necessarily the case. So I've said it before. I want it 50-50 in terms of the snaps. I don't know if we'll get it. I want more creativity. Loved what I saw from the Bucs defense today. And again, we got asked during the week, like, what's the vibe in the locker room right now? And I said it, it's two things. One, we'll ghost town sometimes. I still think the guys genuinely believe in each other, and there's still positivity of that we can turn it around. But there's also this, like, oh man, here we go again, like another bad moment. So I think this team again just needs to just stay the course, change things on offense. I think that goes without saying. But they have the talent to beat anyone in this league. They just haven't put it together for a sustainable time. So hopefully next week against the Seahawks is when they really do it, because if they can just start clicking a little bit, they will be a huge issue for any team that they play against. They have to do it. They just have to do it themselves. Common Sensei says, Matt, we got a Cowboys running back situation. You know what? You're not too far off. The Cowboys obviously have Zeke, but a lot of people say that Tony Pollard is the better running back. We're getting very close to that with Leonard Fournette and Rachaad White. I want more attempts for Rachaad.
I want
White.
less Keyshawn Vaughn. I'll tell you
that.
Yeah,
2 was too much for
2
Keyshawn
is
Vaughn.
too.
I remember he first came on the field, and we were like, "Oh, like Bucs."
You got like 5 yards. Tough carry.
Well, it's funny because Paul and I were like, "Oh, is Rachaad White going to be on for this drive?" It was the second series, so I was like, probably not just yet. And like, oh, Rachaad White is in the backfield. They went the pony setup with 2 running backs, like all right, he's on the field with Keyshawn Vaughn. What? And Keyshawn Vaughn got the ball, like with Rachaad White on there too. So, yeah, that was a little surprising, but we'll see if the Bucs change anything up for their next game. When they play the Seahawks in Germany.
I will say about Fournette is that utilizing him in the pass game, he's very, very good. He's very effective in the passing game. Mm-hmm. It's just a running game. And even Tony Romo said it, he was diagnosing the play. He's like, he was supposed to cut here, but instead he cut here. Strange decision by him, because he would have had 6-7 yards on that play. And you look at the replay and you're like, oh my goodness, yeah, he would have had, and that's the thing. I think that he's just not hitting his vision. It's more of his vision than its speed, I think, Matt.
Yes, I agree.
His
100%.
speed is not there, but it's his vision on attacking holes, and it's night and day comparison when you get Rachaad White in there.
Very, very true. So that's going to do it for us for today's show. We'll have a podcast tomorrow at 4:00. We'll have roll call as well, where the Pewter people tell us where you're watching the show from. And it'll be a Victory Monday, the first time in 4 weeks that there is a Victory Monday. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully get used to it. We shall see. Thanks again to everyone for watching. Appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribe to Pewter Report TV. For JC Allen, I'm Matt Matera saying thank you, everybody, for watching everything today. And we will see you tomorrow for another edition of the Pewter Report podcast. What a win. Out.